Hey guys, I just wanted to put a very quick video out on the Transformers trading card game by Wizards of the Coast. I'm a huge Transformers fan. I've been playing this game for about a month and a half. I'm a huge fan of the game. I just want to start off, I have no affiliation with Hasbro or Wizards of the Coast. Hasbro obviously owns Transformers, and everything I'm doing in this video is strictly for fun purposes, for my personal use with me, my friends, and my family in my home. And I want to share some fun, wonderful thinking outside of the box ideas to maybe inspire other people out there who play this game, who love Transformers, to think up new, fun, wonderful ways to enjoy this game. So first of all, real quickly, over the weekend, I just wanted to say I saw this quick news story on an exclusive Bumblebee card in China celebrating the Chinese New Year. I got a little download of the image and printed it out on my all this is printed on my inkjet printer. This is all homemade printing. I'm not distributing these. It's just for me to play with at home. As you can see, that's the Chinese exclusive card. And, you know, modern technology, it's a miracle. Google Translate gave me the text, and there it is in English. I went in Windows Paint. That's where I did all this stuff for all my cards, is Windows Paint. And I pretty much, you know, took a little bit of red up top, blocked out all of the lettering, then with Google Paint, retyped everything as Google Translate stated it. Same with the body there. So for whatever reason, I don't know, one side it says Silver and Gold Warrior, the other side it says Golden Warrior. To me, I don't know, those characters look identical, but Google Translate said that they were two different sets of words, so I stuck with that. Even though I did take the liberty to change the wording here, when it says when you flip to this mode and the character gets bold 2, in the translation it said brave 2, but brave is not the words we use in the game. And on this side, it said tolerance instead of tough. So I interpreted it as saying this must be bold and tough. I took the liberty to translate that into the way we use the words in the game here in the US. But I was still puzzled about Silver and Gold Warrior, Golden Warrior. There's no silver, but there was a difference in the translation. I ran it through a couple times. So for whatever reason, I just felt like keeping that the way it was. So I'm really excited to try this card out with my friends and family on my own private time. I would never walk into a tournament or an official setting and expect anybody to be able to allow me to play with this card. This is just for my own personal use, for fun. So anyway, I love the game. I love Transformers. And one thing that I found somewhat annoying as a huge Transformers fan in all of Wave 1, and apparently all of Wave 2, I know it didn't release yet, but I've been reading all the news stories, all the videos I've been watching on the updates for Wave 2. There were no cassettes. And, you know, Soundwave, Blaster, all the cassettes are a big part of the Transformers franchise. And for them not to be involved in this game as characters yet is a little annoying. I mean, hey, I love the game. I think what they're doing is fantastic. I'm really happy to play the game. The game, vanilla stock, is incredibly enjoyable. I'm having a blast with my friends. But I wanted to actually make this more enjoyable. So I said, you know, I really would love to be able to play with the cassettes, with Soundwave, Blaster, and the cassettes. So I took it upon myself to go out of my way in standard old Windows paintbrush to make the cassette characters. You know, I don't use Photoshop. It's not just that I don't have Photoshop. You know, I don't know how to use it. I'm an old guy. Technology is beyond me to an extent. I know the very big basics. So with the basics, I decided to go through and muddle through and make my own cards. So I'm going to start all of these cards one at a time with a very quick description. And more or less, all these were originally, I took scans of my actual Wave 1 cards. So I just used Shockwave, and I kind of mutilated him digitally to make all my Decepticon cards. And I used Cosmos, and I cut and pasted and mutilated him, you know, the scan, to make all my Autobot cards. So here we go. And I'm going to put this in year order by toy release. So, here we go. Here's my Soundwave card, 1984. There he is. Alt mode. 8 stars, 4 attack, 3 defense. And as you can see up top, he is a leader, a boombox, and a specialist. And I put all of their actual functions as they appeared on their tech specs under their name. So Soundwave, communication. And the body here of his text says, for every cassette you have on the battlefield, this gets bold and tough 1. Right? Cool. And here's the bot mode. Now he's not a boombox anymore. See? He loses his boombox ability in bot mode. And here it says, if you could read that, when you flip to this mode and there are cassettes under this card, you must place one back onto the battlefield in bot mode and tapped. If there are no cassettes under this card, then you must draw a card. So we're going to go through this with the cassettes. More or less, I was inspired by the Metroplex deck mechanic about hiding cards under the deck or under Metroplex's card and then having them released as you play. And that's what inspired me. I wanted some sort of interchange between the cassettes and Soundwave so that it's thematically as close to the original toy as possible. Okay, here we go. Here's Rumble. And this is the universal cookie cutter message I put on all the cassettes. By the way, in his alt mode, he's a melee and a cassette. His function is demolitions. And if you read here, it says, when you flip to this mode and there is no more than 2 cassettes under a boombox, you may place this card under that boombox. If you do, scrap all upgrades on this card and repair all damage on it. And as you can see, he is 3 stars. Soundwave, 8. I wanted to be able to have a scenario where you play this game and you are able to have all 5 1984 cassettes on the battlefield at the same time with Soundwave. I was a little bent out of shape with certain characters and the way that the star counts worked, that kind of forbade those characters to work together. I wanted my deck with my Dinobots to be Grimlock, Slag, and Sludge. The star counts would not allow for that. Hot Rod and Blur are being released in Wave 2. Those plus Sergeant Cup from Wave 1 would have been all the 1986 cars, Blur, Cup, and Hot Rod. Their star counts would not allow for that. I was a little upset with that. I want these characters to work together, but I also want to obey the rules of the game. So I made it a point to say, make these guys' star counts very low, make their stats very low, so that way it's not unfair. And that way you can have all the 84 cassettes with Soundwave, or as many cassettes as you like, to a point, with a boombox, and it's still fun. So here's Rumble's bot mode. When this attacks, after the defending opponent has calculated and applied any damage, they must scrap 1 upgrade from the card that has defended. And this is supposed to be a thematic point where, you know, pile drivers, earthquake, things fall apart, so you lose an upgrade. And notice, not a cassette, just a melee and bot mode. In alt mode, cassette. Here's Frenzy. Same cookie cutter message there for the cassettes. You can put him underneath the boombox. Here's his bot mode. His bot mode is the same as Rumble, even though I know on the toy he didn't necessarily do pile driving. We all know, you know, every other iteration, they're pretty much the same, so I kept their thing the same. Laserbeak, interrogation, by the way. Frenzy was warrior. All the cassettes are 3 stars, by the way. He's got the exact same body here. Pretty much they're all 1-in-1 on terms of attack and defense. And I just gave him a bold 1 in robot form. Buzzsaw, same shtick, 3 stars, same body of text. Spy, cassette, not a cassette. I gave him tough 1. So I figured the Condors get tough 1. They're in the air. They're harder to hit. Better defense. And finally, for the 1984 line, here we have Ravage, Saboteur, and Cassette. Same thing here. Now notice he's not a specialist. I made him ranged. So I figured the Warriors get melees. Warrior is a melee. Interrogation is very skilled. So that's a specialist. Ravage gets ranged. Blaster, 1985. Boombox, leader, specialist, communications. Same thing as Soundwave. He gets bold 1, tough 1. Not a boombox. Same thing as Soundwave. When you flip to this mode and there are cassettes under this card, you must place one back onto the battlefield in bot mode and tapped. If there are no cassettes under this card, then you must draw a card. So the thematic point that I was going for is that when they transform, they then have to release one of the cassettes, and just like in the old cartoon show, the cassette flies out, transforms into robot form, and is ready to fight. That's the thing that I wanted to kind of get in terms of a feel of playing these cards with these characters. 1986 cards. Eject. Cassette, specialist, electronic surveillance. Same cookie cutter message for the cassette. And remember, the way this game works, Autobots and Decepticons can play on the same team, so any cassette, Autobot or Decepticon, can go into any boombox, Autobot or Decepticon, and it made both the boomboxes 8 stars. So presumably you can have these two boomboxes on the same time at the battlefield at the same time, with a little bit of a mix of cassettes. So I gave him a bold 1. Rewind, Archivist, same stuff there. Bold 1, Specialist. Ramhorn, he's a warrior, so he's melee. Same stuff on there, cassette, yada yada. I gave him Pierce 1. Well, look at that horn. Doesn't he want to pierce? That's pretty cool. Steeljaw. He's ranged. Tracker. Same body there. Tracker ranged. Pierce 1. Now, last for the 1986, only Decepticon 1986. Ratbat, Fuel Scout. He's a specialist. So this is interesting. I made this a little bit unique. When you flip to this mode, move 1 damage counter from this card to an enemy card of your opponent's choice. So Fuel Scout, Vampire Bat, if he's hurt, sucks fuel, heals from the enemy. That's the theme that I was going for with that mechanic. Ratbat. Okay, cool. That's 1986. Quickly, 1987. Slugfest, Messenger Specialist. Tough 1. Overkill, Warrior, Melee. Pierce 1. Now, here comes the fun. Let me get these guys out of here. 1988. Grand Slam and Rain Dance. He's a tank in bot mode. He's a plane in bot mode. Right there. Right. Okay. Let's read this out. If at the end of turn you also have Rain Dance, video correspondent, on the battlefield or in the KO area and in bot mode, you may scrap 3 cards from your hand and combine that card with this one to form Slam Dance Intelligence Coordinator. All damage from both cards is repaired and all upgrades from both cards get scrapped. He says pretty much the same thing in relation to Grand Slam. I was inspired by the Darkwing and Dreadwing Combiner card. So I borrowed the text from that in terms of saying, let me just get this out of here, saying, scrap 3 cards. There we go. Get this guy out of here. Okay. Bam. And there is Slam Dance. And Slam Dance is Intelligence Coordinator, and that is his function according to More Than Meets the Eye by Dreamwave. And he has bold 1, 6 stars. The 2, 3 stars are combined. And going with all the theme of all the combiners from Wave 2, it is all the cassettes have a life of health of 5, but all the combiners are a combined health plus 1, so 5 and 5 is 10, plus 1 is 11. So there's Slam Dance. And we're going to go through the same thing with Squawk Talk and Beast Box. Remember, we're still in 1988 here. Translator, Interrogator, Specialist. That's their cassette side, says the same thing. Well, actually, that's his cassette side, says the same thing. That's their bot side. So it says here, if at the end of your turn you also have Beast Box Interrogator on the battlefield or in the KO area and in bot mode, you may scrap 3 cards from your hand and combine that card with this one to form Squawk Box Battlefield Dissonance. All damage from both cards is repaired and all upgrades from both cards get scrapped. Pretty much says the same thing here in relation to Squawk Talk. I did the same thing. There's that. Voila. Get this guy out of here. I have no idea if this is what they're going to do with the combiners in Wave 2 or the triple changers. It's the only thing that I could foresee them doing, to have multiple images on one card. I have no idea how they're going to make that work. But there he is. Squawk Box. Battlefield Dissonance. And I gave him a Pierce 1. So it was bold 1 on Slam Dance and a Pierce 1 on Squawk Box. And he's a melee. Slam Dance was a specialist. So you could put melee, battle cards or upgrades rather on this thing here. Okay? Almost there. So this is what I've done so far. I've got one more set to show you, but I want to keep making more cards. I want to do Action Masters. I want to do Head Masters, Target Masters, Power Masters, maybe some Micro Masters. And what I'm hoping I'm doing right now with sharing this video is that I'm encouraging or inspiring people who love this game, who love Transformers, to think out of the box and maybe come up with new ideas to make the game more fun for themselves, with their friends, in private, in their home. So I did Pretenders. So these are, here's Bludgeon, Thunderwing. Go to one at a time. So Bludgeon here was at 8 stars. He's a tank, a leader, a pretender. So you got a little shell splitting out there, sort of. And a melee. And he's got a 1 attack, 9 health, 2 defense. It says, when flipping this card while it has 4 or more damage, you may flip to shell. Okay? Here's his bot mode. When flipping this card while it has 4 or more damage, you may flip to shell. So the idea is, from 9, 4, he's down to 5. He's on the brink of death, presumably, kind of at that 50% mark. So when flipping this card, what that means is if you are eligible to flip him, it's your turn, you're going to flip, or you have a rapid conversion, you're going to flip. Here's Shell. Still the same thing, Electric Warrior, still Pretender, still a melee. But look at that stat. Bang, 5-4. And it says right here, when you flip to this mode, repair 2 damage. After this attacks, you must flip to either bot or alt mode. Cool. So here's Thunderwing. Aerial Espionage, leader. I made them both leaders because of the comics. I grew up on the old Marvel comics. They were both leaders in the Marvel comics. So even though his function isn't necessarily leader-like, as respectful to the comics as possible, they both got the leader designation. So there he is. 3 attack, 1 defense. He is 12 stars because he's a Mega Pretender, and that's a big deal. When flipping this card while it has 10 or more damage, you may flip to Shell Alt. Alt side, option for Shell Alt. Mega Pretender. Bot side, 5-1. When flipping this card while it has 10 or more damage, you may flip to Shell Bot. Okay? There was no difference because with Bludgeon, there is no Shell Bot, Shell Alt. There's just Shell. He was a regular Pretender. He's a Mega Pretender. If you're down and you have 5 left on your health, and you're in bot mode, and you're allowed to flip, you can only go to shell bot if you don't want to go to standard alt. Okay. Get that guy in there. Hold on. All right, cool. Look at that. That's some Metroplex level attack. Insane defense. Now let's read the body here. When you flip to this mode, repair 5 damage. After this attacks, you must flip to either bot or alt mode. One-shot deal. So, yeah, you could flip to this mode. Maybe he's not tapped. Maybe he's not going to make an attack. But once he taps and attacks, you can't keep him around. Shell alt. A little bit less attack, 6, but still fantastic. A little bit less defense, 3, but still very good. When you flip to this mode, repair 5 damage. After this attacks, you must flip to either bot or alt mode. So, whether you're in standard bot mode and you have to go to your pretender mode, you're stuck with bot. Whether you're in standard alt mode and you want to go to your pretender mode, you're stuck in pretender alt. Once you're in your pretender either mode, I gave you the liberty of choosing whether you're going to go to bot or alt mode standard. But again, one-shot deal, mega pretender. Okay, well, that's it. This is my first video ever. I don't plan on making many more. I'm not really into the social media scene, but when it came to this game, I wanted to share my ideas. I've been having so much fun. This ran a lot longer than I thought. I wanted to squeeze it into 7 minutes, and I'm at 22, it looks like. So if you did watch the video and you stayed this long, thank you very much. Honestly, I don't care about likes. I don't want subscribes. I don't even want you to share the video. I just want you to be inspired. If you love Transformers and you love the Transformers trading card game by Wizards of the Coast, and you're having tons of fun and you say, I want to have even more fun, I hope you're inspired and you're going to start thinking outside the box and making really awesome, fun cards. I'm going to work on the Headmasters, Target Masters, Action Masters, maybe the Micromasters. And if I make more cards, I will make more videos. So thank you again for watching. Have a good one.